welcome to the Combine here on WECB, the underground sound of Emerson College, your home for the best of metal and hardcore. Today in studio we have a very special guest. Joining us is David Davidson, guitarist and vocalist of the band REVOCATION. Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much, man. How has life for your band changed since you guys signed to Relapse Records and released your latest album, Existence is Futile, through that label?
Things have definitely changed for the better, I would say. We got a lot more exposure, obviously. Gotten more press. I think just having the brand of, a sort of bigger metal label also helps out to, get fans to check you out. I know there's so many bands out there nowadays. It's hard to, sift through, everything. But I think, for some metalheads, having that, stamp of approval of a certain label that has a specific level of quality to it definitely
means a big deal
to people.
The response to your album has been pretty much overwhelmingly positive from everyone I've talked to, and you guys made a lot of best of '09 lists online and stuff like that. How do you guys feel about people's overall reactions to the album?
It's been great. People are really digging it. All the reviews I've read in print and stuff like that. With the exception of a few here or there, you can't please everybody. But mostly, people have been really, really overwhelmingly positive about it. So much so where some of the compliments they're giving us are whoa, man, that's pretty heavy. You know what I mean? So, and it's cool too because people are kind of getting where we're coming from. You know what I mean? I feel like the true sort of metalheads that are out there critiquing the album can hear the different influences, whether it's it's even if they're obscure, sometimes people hit it right in the head, they're oh, it reminds me of Gore Guts or this or that or Pestilence, and people it's cool that people can hear the different sort of bands that have influenced us, and I guess our influences are coming through our music, and I think that's a good thing.
Since the release of Existence is Futile, you guys have pretty much been touring nonstop, it seems, and you guys have some tours lined up for the next few months, too. What can people expect out of these tours? Who are you guys touring with, and where will you be going?
Well, coming up April 1st, I think we leave for Japan. We do a week there with Behemoth and Job for a Cowboy. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, immediately, we go straight to Europe and do a tour with Dying Fetus, Origin, Beneath the Massacre, and Man Must Die. So it's going to be definitely a death metal.
Yeah, it's quite the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. That's the thrash and burn Euro version. So it should be real fun. And then we get back and we're home for I think 3 days, and then we go out and do another full U.S. tour with Cattle Decapitation, and then we go out with Job for a Cowboy in Whitechapel for a couple weeks, so it should be a good time.
Cool. Do you guys have any chance you'll play any Boston gigs in the near future, or is that something more long-term after you get back from touring?
Yeah, we're definitely going to still rep it in Boston, but probably won't be for another few months since we're going to be so busy with all the touring and stuff like that, and we sort of, we've played the local scene a ton, and the local scene comes out and supports us, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. But, as a band right now, we're just trying to sort of branch out and play, as many places as possible. But we will be back, Boston. We will be back.
And like you mentioned, you guys play a lot locally in Boston, which is great. How do local club shows at tiny places in Austin compare to bigger gigs out in the world? And do you prefer one to another? What are the pros and cons of each, I suppose?
I guess it's we kind of grew up in the Boston scene, so it definitely holds a special place in our heart. Playing a small basement show or this or that when it's crammed in and sweaty and kids are going nuts. So that's real fun. The big stages are obviously awesome. There's perks in a different way. The sound's usually better. You know what I mean? You have a sound guy. There's room to move around a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So they're both fun on different levels, and it's they're both cool. Just playing in front of anyone is fun, no matter if it's on a bigger stage or a smaller kind of setting. They're both kind of cool.
Yeah. Your sound has been described in numerous ways, I suppose you could say. Stuff like MySpace lists you guys as death metal meets thrash, but I think even that kind of sells you guys short. And one of the reasons that I personally really dig your music is that it's so dynamic and it brings a lot of different influence into it. Even on a song-by-song basis, each song kind of has a lot of peaks and valleys and stuff to keep you on your toes when you're listening. How would you describe your sound, And who would you cite as your biggest influences?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like at the core of it, it's definitely death thrash. But I agree with you. I think there's a lot of different facets of our song that you can't just sort of put into like a two genre sort of
really can't rubber
mishmash.
stamp it.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like and people say that all the time, like, oh, it's really hard to pigeonhole us or whatever, and like half the time it's like kind of, but like I really feel like with us we have so many different influences, and whether we listen to like grind or black metal or death metal or thrash or old school heavy metal, it's all those kind of influences hopefully seep in and are sort of congealed and molded into songs that I think hopefully make sense, but still at the end of the day sound like us. I guess we're just legit fans of metal music in all its forms, and we can listen and we can listen to different riffs and just hear the different aspects of these different genres and be like, oh man, that's really cool, like I'd like to put a part in like that somewhere, but kind of do it so it makes sense in the context of the song. We don't want to force anything and be like the band that like is oh, here's our grindcore part, like and it's like obvious, I mean, we want it to be a little bit more subtle organic, and a little bit more organic, exactly. So influences, like I said earlier, like Pestilence and Gorguts, and like on the death metal front there's a band called I was mentioning Martyr from Canada. I think every interview I do I mention Martyr because like not enough people know about this band. If you're listening right now, you've never heard Martyr from Canada.
I'll have to play them on the show later this afternoon.
Listen to Martyr, yeah. But like and thrash, the old school stuff, Exodus, Testament. It's some of the hidden gems that people don't really know about that are great. Like Forbidden are awesome. Exhorter are an amazing thrash band that kind of brought in like the groove metal kind of sound with like it's kind of similar to Pantera and. We actually did an Exhorter cover song on the CD for the Japanese version.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if, I don't think a lot of people in the U.S. have heard it, but we did a cover of Death in Vain and put that on the Japanese version. So there's just so much, great music out there, and we just want to pay homage to it and put our own kind of unique spin on it.
Definitely, and I think that definitely comes across when you listen to your albums.
Thank you.
When you write, is it a conscious decision or just your sound overall, I guess, that you want to kind of be like a melding of all these different subgenres, or is it just more of like, this is what I'm into and this is what's coming out when we write?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Like I'll pick up a CD and I'll be jamming it and I'll be like, man, this is really ripping my face off right now or whatever. And I'll just like, that's all I'll listen to for like for a week, and then I'll start writing, and it might like kind of creep into my writing in sort of like a more organic way or more natural way, just because I've been listening to it and like I dig it so much, and I might want to like kind of like try and like emulate that or put my own kind of spin on it. So like on the new record, there's like that's not even out yet, like we're writing right now, but it's got like there's one song that almost sounds like Trap Them, kind of like, but with our kind of like own sort of spin on it or whatever. So it's different bands influence us. We get influences from all over, and we don't sit down and say like, okay, we want to write like
whack thrash.
Right. Yeah. It just kind of comes out. I mean, we just have like I'm always constantly just trying to write riffs and come up with different stuff. So we hope that it comes across as like a organic song that makes sense.
Yeah. Much more than something just like orchestrated for the sake of doing
it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think it loses its effect then,
Who handles lyrics duty in the band? Is it kind of a group effort?
It's Anthony and me. On Empire, it was a little bit more heavily Anthony. I only contributed like one song, I think, and little parts and bits of others. But on Existence, it's a little bit more split. I think Anthony still ended up writing a few more lyrics, but